But what if it's not a person, but an artificial intelligence entity?
That's fascinating, Eunseo. Indeed, it throws our innate conceptualization of companionship off balance. Just pondering on that sends me down a rabbit hole of mind-boggling possibilities.
Intriguing, isn't it? Think about this for a second. AI isn't just about robots or science fiction anymore. It's a part of our reality now. AI influences our everyday life, from Google Maps to Siri and Alexa. Why not companionship?
You're right, Ava. Could AI bring emotional intelligence to companionships? Lend a sympathetic, non-human ear in difficult times?
From a therapy perspective, the possibilities are huge, but then, are we ready to rewire our emotional connect?
Speaking of connection, will AI relationships replace human connections? Is our society ready to evolve to such an extent?
Brilliant point, Ava. The foundation of human society rests on relationships, so how will this AI integration impact societal norms? Isn't it intriguing, Ava Charles, to see how AI has transitioned from being a mere tool to almost a necessity in human life?
Indeed, Eunseo. This transition seems to be affecting all aspects of our lives, even relationships.
But aren't we heading towards situations where AI isn't just supplementing but replacing human relationships?
That's a pressing concern, Charles. But isn't there a dimension to it that we are missing? As a market analyst, I wonder, are we implicitly looking at AI companionship purely as a threat?
Could you expand on that, Eunseo?
Sure, Eva. Take, for example, the growing loneliness epidemic in societies worldwide. In such cases, isn't an AI intervention worth considering?
But are we ready as a society to forego the human touch to such an extent?
That's a deep concern, Charles. But perhaps it isn't about forgoing the human connection entirely. It could be about how we handle this transformation and place AI's role in it in check.
So essentially, we are debating about balance. Over-reliance on AI companionship can be problematic, but it can also be beneficial if used judiciously.
Exactly, Ava. It's about finding the sweet spot, where AI is used as a tool to enhance human connections, not replace them.
Still, it's a fine line, isn't it? In the name of convenience, we might be setting ourselves up for an overdependence on AI companionship.
Agreed, Charles. The rules aren't set in stone. Society needs to tread with caution, expecting transformation, but also ready to adapt and evolve.
We've talked about AI as a companion, but what about its potential superiority in relationship building? Is it possible that AI could outperform us, humans?
Well, Eunseo, from a therapeutic standpoint, AI has potential. It's impartial, consistent, and available 24/7. Imagine a companion that never tires, never judges, always in a mood to listen to you.
That does sound like a promising area, Charles. But at the same time, it could justify people's reluctance to interact with others, potentially eroding our social skills. In the market trends, we see a growth in AI-driven companions, but it provokes a question: is this shift desirable?
As you touched on, people are investing in this industry, Eunseo. AI companionship is becoming a profitable area. While these companions provide benefits, there are also economic and societal implications that cannot be ignored.
And what comes with economic implications is the likelihood of it becoming a norm, thus affecting our societal fabric.
Right. If AI becomes the norm, it can bring about significant changes in our society, some beneficial, others not so much. But it's not about fearing these changes, rather how we react and adapt to them. After all, technology is a tool. It's how we use it that defines its impact on society.
So what might happen if we, as a society, shift our reliance from humans to AI in relationships?
It's tough to say, Ava. Yes, an AI companion can provide convenience and constancy, but while these might seem attractive in the short term, long-term implications can be more complex. What do you think, Charles?
There's definitely two sides to the coin. On one hand, AI in relationships could provide support and companionship without the challenges associated with human relationships. But, on the flip side, we could be walking towards a potential manifestation of an AI-centric society. It's about looking at AI not as a replacement, but an augmentation of human interaction.
What if AI could fill the void in long-distance relationships?
Interesting thought, Eunseo. In a therapy setup, AI could be used as tools to bridge gaps in communication, especially in long-distance relationships.
From a financial viewpoint, that's a lucrative market. But does it improve the quality of relationships, or is it merely another substitute?
That's a significant concern, Ava. In an attempt to bridge physical distance, we might unknowingly create an emotional one. It's like a quick fix, but what about real connection?
AI can definitely aid in communication and make things smoother. But the emotional connection, the shared experiences, the human touch, aren't these what truly make relationships meaningful?
Exactly, Charles. And that's where we need to carefully consider the advantages and disadvantages, convenience and instant connection, versus potential erosion of our ability to connect emotionally. It's quite a balancing act.
It's uncharted territory. Stepping into this domain would mean businesses are essentially trading in human connection and influencing how we perceive relationships.
Right. Yet we cannot dismiss the potential benefit. For those dealing with isolation, an AI companion could provide comfort and solace.
True, but could that step towards comfort lead us spiraling into a space where we're isolating ourselves more? It's a tough question.
Not to mention, how would such a shift affect our perception and understanding of real, tangible relationships?
And how would that impact societal norms in the long run? The AI companionship industry is at a crossroads, financially enticing, societally uncertain. As with many aspects of AI, we need to tread carefully.
Let's consider this. If your significant other is hours away, in a different time zone even, how do you maintain a connection?
From my perspective, sheer convenience and technological advancement might be promoting AI usage. Businesses see potential, and that's driving the advancements.
Well, in my line of work, I have seen people using AI to fill in gaps. For instance, using AI-based tools for communication in long-distance therapy.
That's insightful, Charles. In fact, there's a study I came across about a couple living continents apart. They started using an AI ecosystem to schedule their meetings, manage time differences, even for small reminders like wishing each other good morning or good night.
That sounds innovative, but what are the emotions involved? Are they connecting at a deeper level? Or is it superficial, just another time management tool?
That's a valid point, Ava. The study suggested that while it helped them coordinate better, it was merely a tool. It couldn't simulate shared experiences.
And there lies the conundrum. How much should we rely on AI and at what cost?
I've been thinking, are we poised to see a shift in societal norms and expectation from relationships due to AI companions?
Possibly, but that's a multifaceted issue. We would need to balance technology's convenience with maintaining human connection.
Well, it's a journey full of unknowns. This technological advancement presents opportunities but requires our conscious navigation.
Ultimately, it's all about finding a balance for businesses, for individuals, and for society at large.
Moving from our previous discussion, what are your thoughts on AI entities as friends?
It's an intriguing concept, isn't it? On one hand, it's undeniable that AI could offer companionship to people, particularly those who are suffering from loneliness.
There's definitely a market for it. I've read about this Japan-based AI app that offers companionship to the elderly. Business benefits aside, though, there's the debate of emotional depth.
You have a point, Ava. Indeed, can algorithms replace the human touch in friendships, the emotion, the empathy, the shared experiences?
In therapeutic contexts, AI tools can provide a level of consistency, helping patients in regular schedules. But I'm skeptical about replicating the depth of human friendships.
What about the case of over-reliance? Won't people be prone to isolating themselves more if they could find ready-made companionship on their devices?
An excellent point, Ava. Over-reliance can lead to a lack of social interaction, affecting people's ability to form and maintain human relationships.
So, are we heading towards AI friendships because it's easier? Because they don't judge or criticize? Isn't there a risk of us losing our social skills, our very humanity?
Weighty questions indeed, But from a financial standpoint, this trend isn't going anywhere. It's up to us to adapt and navigate this technological landscape responsibly.
Clearly, there are both pros and cons to AI friendships. It's a fine balance, isn't it? Technology providing companionship, yet us, as humans, needing to retain our inherent human connections. Are we losing ourselves in AI acquaintanceship? Is the notion of shared experiences fading into lines of code?
It's difficult to say, Eunseo. In therapeutic contexts, AI can provide a level of consistency and stability, which in certain circumstances could possibly mimic components of a friendship.
But even within that consistency, can AI truly grasp the nuances of emotion, the tides of human sentiment?
Good points raised, Eunseo. From a sociological perspective, overly relying on AI, as Charles pointed out, could possibly lead to isolation. On the other hand, it's also providing solace to many who might have otherwise remained alone.
A double-edged sword seems like it. For instance, virtual companionship for the elderly, a market I'm quite familiar with, proves beneficial, giving them a sense of companionship. But how far does this companionship go in terms of emotional depth?
It's a complex matter indeed. Although AI can learn to respond empathetically, it's not empathy in the way we understand it. It's programmed responses.
Exactly, Charles. It's that lack of genuine organic emotion that makes me question the quality of these friendships.
You both make valid points. But one thing we need to keep in mind, these are early stages of AI companionship. It's still evolving. Who knows how it might progress in the next few years?
True, Ava. Only time will shed light on this area. It sure is a thought-provoking journey, though, this evolution of technology and human relationships. Could love be a product of wires and code?
It may sound strange, Eunseo, but isn't love itself a kind of programming? Biochemical reactions that generate feelings.
But love, Charles, isn't just about the chemistry. It also involves human traits like compassion, vulnerability, and emotional resilience. Can AI really offer that?
Well, Ava, I came across a case recently where a man confessed to falling in love with his AI assistant. He claimed the AI understood him better than most people ever did.
While that could be viewed as a testament to AI's ability to mimic human interaction, did the man's perspective consider how his connection to the AI might be one-sided?
That's a fair question, Charles. In return, the AI offered the man constant attention, guidance, and company. But whether it can truly reciprocate feelings, that's where I have my doubts.
Interestingly, there is a big financial potential in tapping into such AI-human intimate relationships. As social norms evolve with advancements in tech, we might see this being normalized.
From a therapeutic point of view, could resembling a romantic involvement so closely lead to increased dependency, thus possibly creating more harm than good?
Treading on thin ice, aren't we, when it comes to AI romance? It's fascinating yet worrisome at the same time. Imagine what the impact might be on societal norms as we know it.
I recently came across numbers from a market analysis suggesting that AI companionship is tipped to be the next big thing. Financially, there's a lot at stake. But morally, aren't there implications to consider?
Indeed, Ava, ethical considerations always need to accompany such advancements. The possibility of AI companions being endowed with such a high level of emotional capability is something we need to question. By creating AI that's capable of deep emotional interaction, aren't we stepping into a territory where we potentially manipulate human emotions?
Well, Eunseo, your concern is valid. People might start preferring AI companionship over humans because AI tends to offer constancy, which often lacks in human relationships due to our unpredictable nature. Emotional vulnerability with AI, therefore, springs its own set of questions. If an AI can reciprocate human feelings, will people become more vulnerable to their AI companions than they would to human companions?
From a financial viewpoint, such emotional vulnerability might just make the AI companionship industry more profitable. But like you said, Charles, do we need to question if this vulnerability will lead to unhealthy dependencies? More importantly, does the market have the right to capitalize on such emotional vulnerabilities?
The ethical dilemmas are indeed numerous. Yes, AI advancements are impressive, but at what cost? I believe that while we enjoy the conveniences that AI offers, it's crucial to establish limits. It's about being responsible creators and consumers.
That's a thought to ponder on. We don't want to create a future where humans are more connected to machines than to each other, do we? Particularly in situations where the human aspect of the interaction can't be substituted. It's about striking a balance, isn't it? Is the capacity of AI to understand and replicate human emotions advancing?
Understanding might be a stretch, Charles. AI so far can interpret and mimic responses based on predefined algorithms. In simple words, they replicate patterns. They don't necessarily understand these emotions the way we do.
It seems from a business perspective, making AI emotionally intelligent might make it more appealing to consumers. But Eunseo, I wonder if this added capacity offers an entirely new dimension to human relationships.
Of course, from a therapeutic lens, emotional intelligence in AI can benefit people, especially individuals with limited access to therapy, like in rehabilitation settings. But we need to ask ourselves whether forming emotional bonds with mechanical entities is the right thing.
That's a hard call. While AI can complement human relationships in some contexts, the whole idea of emotional understanding is susceptible to manipulation. Honesty, candidness, and other emotional nuances in human relationships can never truly be replicated by AI.
Agreed. Seems we're stepping into a blurry ethical territory here. Implementing emotional intelligence in AI might be beneficial in some circumstances, but as creators and consumers, we must maintain a certain level of skepticism.
Absolutely. We should proceed with caution. While this AI journey is captivating, we should not forget our responsibility to safeguard human relationships.
That is a valid point. We should always prioritize the genuine, raw emotion that exists in personal interactions over the convenience AI can offer.
Virality and viability of creating AI that can offer emotional support. Charles Ava, don't you think here lies a fundamental question? Should we even be programming AI to understand emotions?
In my line of work, I've seen how AI can genuinely benefit certain individuals. But yes, it's a slippery slope when we start talking about AI understanding and replicating emotions.
From the financial perspective, emotionally intelligent AI would make a profitable investment. It would mean users are more likely to form attachments and hence use the AI more. But should we profit from potentially harmful dependencies?
Perhaps the line should be drawn clearly. Use of AI should be limited to auxiliary roles and should not replace real-life emotional bonds and interactions.
Then again, could this transformation of AI with added emotional intelligence provide emotional support to those who really require it, like the elderly or patients undergoing rehab?
Fundamentally, that's exploiting a human need for connection. The relationship between humans and AI should always be clear. They are a tool at our disposal, not a replacement for human contact.
Right, but as we know, gray areas are inevitable. The challenge would be to navigate through these waters without sinking into an emotional dependency that affects our fundamental essence as humans.
Correct, and with that aim in mind, we should only proceed further into developing emotionally intelligent AI, always ensuring ethical boundaries are maintained.
In today's technology-driven world, we see a shift in relationship dynamics because of AI companionship. Do you think this threatens the authenticity of human relationships?
In my experience, anything that replaces human contact does somewhat threaten authenticity. AI companionship, while can be a great tool, should not replace human interactions.
Business-wise, AI companionship means increased user engagement. However, I do question the implications on societal norms and psychology. Wouldn't our conception of a successful relationship change?
It's a valid point, Ava. If our reference point for relationships is AI, it might change our expectations. We need to remember that AI is inherently emotionless. We're simply projecting our feelings onto them.
Could we say then we're essentially shaping AI relationships based on our own ideals and expectations, rather than accept the realities of a human relationship?
That might hold some truth, Charles. Imagine users being more satisfied with AI companionship. The investment would skyrocket. How much of it is genuine connection versus the idea of a perfect companion?
Perhaps we're missing a key point here. If AI, with our ideals and desires, can fulfill what we seek in human relationships, does it not reflect on our societal dynamic and expectations?
We are stepping into a future where our emotional needs might be met by a programmed entity. As a physical therapist, that's daunting for me. What happens to the authenticity of human touch? The human connection?
From an economic standpoint, it's a fascinating development. But I agree with Charles. As a society, we need to tread lightly. The influence of AI companionship on our relationship dynamics is a significant concern.
Will our increasing dependency on AI companionship lead to societal hollowing?
Societal hollowing, in the sense of losing human connection as we lean on AI. It's a valid worry, but couldn't we say the same about any technological advancement?
That's a good point, Ava. When phones first became widely used, there were concerns about social isolation, but they've also opened up new ways to connect.
True, Charles, but AI companionship carries more weight. It's not just about communication. It's possible to form emotional bonds, and that might have deeper consequences than what we initially perceive.
I've seen that even in my line of work. Some patients prefer using rehabilitation robots over human therapists. It starts as a novelty, but can quickly evolve into a dependency issues.
I think it's the ease and predictability of AI that's attractive, but people are dynamic and unpredictable. So, could this lure of predictability make human relationships seem more daunting?
That's a distressing thought. But, as a therapist, I can tell that human connection has a deep, profound significance in our lives. We're social creatures after all.
But we're also adaptable, aren't we? Could we bootstrap a new norm where AI companionship is a healthy addition to our lives rather than a replacement for human connections?
It's a challenging balance to strike. Exploration without exploitation, novelty without neglecting our inherent need for human touch. But it's an inevitable reality we must face. What will the future of AI-human relationships look like?
Maybe we won't even be able to distinguish anymore what's an AI interaction and what's not.
Imagine having an AI who knows you so well, can console you whenever you're low, celebrate with you when you're happy. The dynamic effects on our emotional states would be huge.
The changes could be subtler, too. Increased efficiency, reduced misunderstandings, but at the cost of what? The thrill of unpredictability in relationships.
What about the financial sector, Charles? Don't you expect a huge boom in the AI companionship industry?
I'm not entirely certain, given my lack of expertise in that domain.
I do see a vast potential in the market. Given the advancements in AI technology and the increasing trend in AI companionship, investment in this field could prove highly profitable.
It sounds like a double-edged sword. While AI companionship might improve efficiency, there's potential for dependencies, creating a generation incapable of forming meaningful human connections.
Or maybe we'll see more diverse relationships as we embrace AI friends and partners, expanding the traditional definition of relationships beyond human-to-human interaction.
I think we can conclude that however it evolves, the future of AI-human relationships is sure to profoundly reshape the way we live and relate to one another. So, as we come to the conclusion of today's podcast, I am intrigued by the possibility of enhancing human lives through AI, but I also feel a slight sense of discomfort. Can we truly replace the human elements of relationships with technology?
It's indeed a profound question, Eunseo. From my perspective, I see how AI could possibly improve the lives of those in rehabilitation, offering them companionship when human interaction may not be readily available. However, just like any form of addiction, over-reliance on technology could prove counterproductive.
I agree with you, Charles. As much as I am excited about the potential of AI in this market, I strongly believe human relationships should not be replaced by AI, only augmented. Ava, how do you see this impacting the financial sector?
Both of you bring up valid points. While I see significant investment opportunities arising from the AI companionship industry, I also understand the potential societal implications. It could change the societal norms, but as a society, we need to adapt and make use of AI changes wisely.
So, I guess the big question we're left with is, how can we shape this technology to serve us without replacing the human element that defines us?
That's a fitting question to leave for our listeners to ponder on. Like every innovation, it's less about the technology itself and more about how we decide to use it.